What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in my driveway to yours, this is your Nissan Nation podcast, and I'm your host, David Boyd. Today we got a special treat. We've got the 2009 Nissan Xterra, and you're thinking, man, we've done a lot to this. We have done a lot to this. When we bought this thing in 2013, it had roughly 93,000 miles on it. It was pretty much stock. Whoever had it probably just drove it, and they didn't do anything else to it. So Kelly was really excited to get her own Xterra. I had a 2000 Xterra that I had heavily modified, and we were doing wet windrock and all this stuff, and Kelly wanted her own Xterra. And I'm not going to tell anybody no who wants a newer Xterra, right? Especially when it gives us two Xterras in the family. I mean, come on guys, common sense. It's just like, yes, buy the Xterra. So we did. We got it about a month before the event in 2013, and she was on basically bald tires, and she was having fun. We didn't take it and do much with it that year because it was so stock, but we did have some fun with it. Drove around town, some easy stuff. And then Kelly, the mod bug, decided you gotta mod these things, right? You just got to mod these things. You can't keep anything stock. Once you do it once, forget it, right? And so we did. Let's work our way around this thing and talk about other things we've done to it. All right, as you can see, this is the wrap. It is, I believe they call it a gunmetal color. It's a color that Nissan should have put on this vehicle because it looks so good. I've only seen one other Xterra in this, and he's on the West Coast. And I think he wrapped it about the same time we did this one, and it was so weird. Like, he showed it on Instagram. We're showing ours, and I was like, well, that's weird. We're like twinsies now, except we're not. He's done a completely different overland build with his. So we went with the airflow snorkel. Once again, I found it used. Snorkels are expensive. I think that'll run you $450, $480 for a plastic snorkel. I found it used for like $250, so it was like, why not? So we also went through and we put a Man awning on this thing, which you wouldn't think you'd use an awning on this. Yeah, it's an overland look, whatever, but we actually use this thing for just daily lives. If we're at the ball fields, we'll throw it out. It gives you a little bit of shade. I mean, it's not, is it like a canopy, a 30 by 30 canopy? No, but it is, any shade is good shade when you're out at the ball fields, right? We went with BF Goodrich KO2s on this. We used to run KOs on it, but BF Goodrich, they've upgraded the KO2s and they quit making the KOs. So we went with that. These are a 33-inch tire. They're a 285. I believe it's a 1675 285 tire on it. And love the performance of these tires. They match well with this Xterra. Now, to put 33s under it, we have lifted the vehicle. We've used an MK84 coilover by Nistech, and I believe the spring rate is about 600 or 650. I can't remember exactly right now. But we had to go with a higher spring rate because of the hefty front bumper on it to keep it higher. Trust me, we ran like a factory 5, I think it's 525, somewhere in there, spring. It just was like non-existent. So we upgraded that, and this tech's been awesome to work with. It's their very own specialty shock that they have made, and it's really nice, guys. And for the price, it's one of the best bargains out there. If you're budget-minded with a build, I recommend that MK84 because it's just not Bilstein's, just where you can get some lift out of your vehicle, because the bills are okay. But it's also not Radflows that you're just going to pay an outrageous amount for. These coils are in between, and for light use, and I say light, we're out on the trails a few times a year, they're perfectly fine. And they look great too. They're all chrome, they're shiny, it's really neat. And Nistech did special, they did special powder coating on the springs for us. We went with the red on that, and it looks really nice. Now I kind of wish we'd went with a different color since we wrapped it. But let's look at the side of this thing. Once again, we went with white knuckle rock sliders. There's a bunch of options out there. Hefty Fab Works makes them. There's Schrock Works. There's a bunch of people that make rock sliders for these things, but this is all they do. White Knuckle only makes rock sliders for vehicles. Toyota, whatever you're using, they make them for. But this is all they do is make rock sliders, and they're amazing, man. Now you can see they're pretty beat up, but we've had these on the truck since 13, and they've held up. The powder coating especially has held up really well. The dull finish that you see on this is only because I spray painted some stuff just to help keep the rust down, but the actual finish itself still holds up well. And I mean, we bashed the crap out of this thing, and Kelly, she like beats the crap out of her truck, but she just keeps going and going, and they've held up well. No dents or anything. Now these are DOM as well, so they're gonna be extra tough, right? Now, 285, 75, 16 tires, BF Goodrich KO2s to be exact, and these things are amazing. These have little mileage on them really, because this truck doesn't get drove much anymore, or enough to really, justify keep putting tires on it every couple of years. But these been on about a year and a half now. They still have the little the wear treads on them just because we don't drive it enough. But they look amazing. When they upgraded the KOs to the KO2s, they really stepped up the sidewalls, made them look a lot more aggressive. And believe it or not, these sidewalls make a difference in the mud. I've been very happy. Like, we'll air down, and I've got a video of just showing where it's grabbing. The sidewalls are really grabbing on a log. We're going over, and in the mud, when we're going through, you can see like how they siphon mud through them. So they're really nice. So we knew we needed an extra tire into this thing. From the factory, they put them underneath, but a 33 will not fit under there. So we upgraded to a tire carrier, and we went with the Insane Fab rear tire carrier, and it swings out. It's really nice. We knew we wanted to beef up the bumper a little bit because this is a trail used vehicle, so I didn't want to just, the tin they put on them, I didn't want to just trash it up. But once again, we've got our 5th matching, or BF Goodrich with the matching wheel on it. Looks really nice. Click it, open. Super simple now to get into the back of your vehicle. Once again, this stuff is just heavy duty, man. Really impressed with it. Once again, you can see the matching wrap. The wrap with the black windows, it looks really good with the tin on it. We've had to debadge this one just because of putting the wrap on it. I planned on badging it back, but we may change the color down the road. So until we get our final color that we're both happy with, we'll just pass on this for right now. Rear lighting on these things is super important. They actually, they have factory backup lights, but they're just not bright enough, especially when you add a tire in the way. You just need as much visible area as you can see at night. So we went with the Ironman 4x4 7-inch lights, and then we just went with some just cheap eBay pods in the rear or on the sides up here. Incredible, like really brightens up everything, and they're up high, so you get a good spread beam on it. They look really nice. They are mounted to an Insane Fab bar. It attaches from each side of the post. Works perfect. Now what you can see up there on the top is a Heps Designs basket, and we use that basket more than you'd think too. We luggage, push stuff up there. It's very handy. It's a drop-in basket in between the racks. Since the X did not come with the crossbars, I needed something that I could put up there to help carry stuff, so you can kind of see it up there. And that's how also we've mounted our canopy. It's just right off that rack. A really ingenious way of doing it. Heps Fabs on this thing is amazing to work with. Tony and Don over there in Indiana, amazing people to work with, and they build an amazing product. So you can buy those actually at Nistech, by the way. Other than that, this is the back of the vehicle. You can see we've added our CB antenna to that, but other than that, it's the back of an Xterra. You can see we've upgraded the shocks. They're Bilstein's 5100s. This thing was well past prime. It needed shocks bad on this thing, and we've the rear diff on this is the same as came with this vehicle, except one thing: it's got an ARB locker in the rear of it, and I'll go into more about that later. We've put an Adeleaf on this. You've got the Calamini lift shackles, which I'm not a supporter of Calamini by any means, but I've had these on there since 13, and there's just really no reason to take them off. But you can see the BTF Fab cover on that. I do recommend putting a heavy-duty cover on these things because they do get bashed up. The ones from the factory are kind of tin-like. We've used the Off-Road Gorilla adapter where you put it on for the breather, for the diff breather, and we've ran it up into the rear tail lights of this thing. I definitely recommend doing that because you go through mud puddles on any trails, you're going to start getting water in your diff, or they just tend to rust and not work properly. So you can see the white knuckle off-road sliders, and if anybody goes, why do people need sliders? My steps work perfect. For one, you bash them and steps will fold on you in a heartbeat. But look at the abuse these things have taken. It's amazing the abuse they've taken, and the powder coat's really held up well. You don't see it chipping away. It's really bonded to the metal really well, and some of this has been on there since, oh gosh, I can't even tell you. Every year we go out, this thing gets beat up. And guys, think about this: in a side impact, just in an accident, what would you rather have out here mounted to the frame? This is like putting your frame out a good 6 more inches to help protect your family. So I hear a lot of people go, yeah, they're so expensive, and I'll just, I don't need them. Just that for safety alone, their rock sliders on the side of your off-road vehicle are well worth it, in my opinion. You can see, once again, these things have taken the abuse, and they just keep on keeping on. This color is just amazing, the way the light changes with it. Once again, we went with Lifestyle Off-Road. They do all of our vinyl and graphics and wraps and stuff. So we worked with Luke to find the right color that we wanted. But it's just amazing. And the great thing about wraps are you're protecting your paint. So I know a friend of mine, Kevin Smith, went and bought a 2015 brand new in 2015, took it right and had a clear wrap put on it. And, you know, it's protected. Once again, you can see the hefty fab bumper on this thing. They do amazing work, guys. I can't say enough about Chris and those guys over there in Colorado. They just knock it out of the park. And guess what? They're a family-owned business, which I like dealing with. And they make these in aluminum now. And I think they're pretty much exclusively aluminum. Got to get a winch in that thing. I have one from that, but I got to put it in this thing. I got to stop being lazy. We Plasti dipped the grill on this thing. And I used to be a big fan of Plasti dip. But the problem being is, it's real porous. You can see this is chipped away a little bit from road debris hitting it, but it's porous and it sucks up any, like this is all pollen right now. And I just washed this thing and it just gets sticky and it's hard to clean. If I would do this again, and I do have a new grill we're gonna put on this, I'm gonna paint it black and be done with it. Paint doesn't allow this stuff to stick as well to it. And we've put probably a couple coats over the years on this thing. I mean, it still doesn't look bad, but it could sure look a lot better. MK84 coils on this thing, just amazing, man. Chris and those guys they've really done us well on this thing. I appreciate anytime I do business with those guys. Chris has always been real friendly with us, and I do appreciate it. Other than that, I've got a skid from the Hefty. We just keep it off a lot of times if we're in street mode. We keep the skid off just because it's just more weight that this thing doesn't need. 250 bucks on that thing. I couldn't pass it up. The only thing it was missing was it's missing the little side mount over here, and I'm just gonna fab something up and put on there for the time being. This was a quick install before winter last year. I needed to get it on, and after that, you know, winter came, and I just got lazy, to be honest. But we'll put that mount on there. It's still pretty. Going down the highway, you'll see it moving just slightly, but it's still pretty, you know, pretty firm. So that's been our walk around of our 2009 Nissan Xterra. If you like what you see here, leave a comment. If you've got questions, please leave a comment. I know we can go to deeper in detail into this thing, and I do plan on showing the inside of it. I'll do a video on that down the road. But I wanted to get you on the outside right now and let you think. If you have a stock Nissan Xterra, be it Gen 1 or Gen 2, do not think that you're limited by what you can do with those vehicles. There's plenty of forums out there. There's all kinds of information on YouTube, on Facebook, on just everywhere. If you're old school like me, there's forums out there like Xterra Nation, the New X. There's all kinds of information out there. And don't think that your Nissan is not just as capable as any Jeep out there. I'm always amazed when we'll go to like Windrock Park. You'll see a group of Jeeps parked on a trail, and you'll see some Xterras or some Frontiers or something go by them, and you get the weirdest look, like you shouldn't be here. And you're like, you just go do the same challenges they do, and you're having a good time, right? Because off-roading is just about fun, man. It doesn't matter what vehicle you're driving. It's just about it being out there in the woods, just having a good time. Or if you're in Moab, being out there on that slick rock. But let us know in the comments below what you think, and if you have specific questions about our vehicle, please let us know. We're happy to help. We are on NissanNationPodcast.com. There's the audio side. You can find us there or wherever you get your audio, your podcast from. Or clearly you're on YouTube. You can continue finding us here. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell if you really want. As soon as we drop new information, you can do that. So from all things Nissan and my driveway to yours, this has been your Nissan Nation podcast update of our 2009 Nissan Xterra. Peace.